What it do? It's your boy Willie on the Facebook Live, YouTube. Where my Bible at? Where is my Bible? It's over there. Hold on. Where is my Bible? What they do, everybody? Just gonna invite some people on the live. Man, I tell you, hey, how you doing? Hello, 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 hello. Hello, Martha. Blessings. Yes, you did, and I appreciate the support. If you like what you see, love it, share, comment. If you don't, after 19 hours of working, well, you need some rest. I would not be offended if you just watched the replay. Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Veronica, Corey? This is an open discussion as well. After I share my points, I forgot to put that on the title, but you're open to discuss. Just no cussing, just and come on the live, just no cussing. If you don't have to be Christian, just please no cussing. If you want to come on the live after I share my opinion, you can share yours. But the title, Derrick Jaxn, if you haven't heard, Derrick Jaxn, it is proof that men don't feel safe. Men are not safe on social media. I don't feel safe. And why is that? Let me first address this. Is it wrong that he cheated? Hey, Michaela, how you doing? Yes. Very, very, very wrong. He did it with multiple women. I feel for her as a partner, as a spouse. I feel for her. I don't know what's going on in that household. I do honestly feel like manipulation is going on. He was very wrong. So this is not, I feel sorry for Derrick Jaxn. This is not a defending him, but I am saying that this is what comes about. Now, Corey, I was thinking about you. This is what comes about when we make up this dream of men that are perfect, men that say all the right things and don't say anything wrong, men that are afraid they're not afraid to hold men accountable. In fact, men like Derrick Jaxn, they hold men to a higher standard, which we should be held to a high standard, but such a high standard that no man can attain it. No man can attain what Derrick Jaxn has been preaching for years. No man can attain the perfection which he's talking about, to the point where it's just some of the videos he makes is ridiculous, to the point where he has spurred a whole movement, which I do not agree with, the red pill movement, to the point where men don't even want to be in relationships with women because they see men like Derrick Jaxn on Instagram, on Facebook, promoting what he promotes. No correction for men. No love for men, really. Just all directed toward women and how men are just dogs and all men are dogs. Let me tell you this. This is true. 95% of men want to be in a relationship. They want to be in a relationship. The reason they go to relationship coaches like me is because they've been dumped for being too soft. They've been dumped for not being alpha enough. They've been dumped for paying attention to a woman too much without going after their goals and going after what they want in life. They start to idolize women And they have to get to a point where it's like, it's okay to love a woman, but bro, you got to focus on you too. And you have to share your needs. But men and women, men watch Derrick Jaxn and say, I guess I got to be like this to get a woman. And in fact, that advice that Derrick Jaxn gives turns off a woman. When you're always in her face, when you always have to feel like you have to please her, and it's not about, men feel empty inside. Men feel that they can't share their opinions and their hurt of what women put them through. And my brother Corey, if you can relate as a man, I don't feel safe on social media sharing about how women hurt me. And I'm not going to right now. Because it has gotten to the point on social media, on TV, it started with TV, it's been on TV, where sometimes it's justified, where women have a safe place to talk about their feelings, to talk about what men have gone through, and rightfully so. Some men are dogs. I'm going to say that. Some men are dogs. Some men are dogs. I'm going to go back and read your comments. Some men are just dogs. They're just plain dogs, and they treat women wrong. But we have created this, and it started in the 90s and the 80s and the 90s, where women on media have a safe place to talk about men and their issues. But let a man say he got hurt by a woman. Let a man say that, man, I don't think it's right that every time that, and I'm going to say something that's going to hurt some women's feelings, but it's true. Why is the divorce system so much so that it's men that take the bare responsibility when a man gets divorced or have a child that they have to pay child support? And when it's vice versa, women are held accountable. Now, men should pay child support. I'm not saying that. Should men pay child support? Yes. But when it comes to a woman paying it, it's like it's kind of justified when they don't. Because you don't see a lot of men be single fathers, but it's kind of justified. And then it's justified when it's like that money's not spent on the children. It's spent on her. It's spent on extra activities. Look, I lived this. So you can't be in my face and say you don't understand. I lived this as a child. I lived this you guys know I love my mom. I lived this as a child. As a child growing up, when my dad would give my mom money, and my mom was spending on stuff that wasn't even about us. So I've been there. So you can't tell me that, you can't relate. I can relate as a child. I can definitely relate as a child. So I've been there. Let me go back and read your comments. I really don't care for him, his message. I know he was a no good dog and a fraud. Okay. I still love him, though. I'm praying for him. That's facts. He went over and beyond the clout chase and feed into a male bashing crowd. He's made some good point, but the majority is attack on men. Right. We can't make men better attacking men all the time. And there has to be a balance. And it definitely has facts. He treats men as though we don't deserve to value ourselves as well. And I don't feel safe either. I can give many examples, and here Corey goes as an example. When I got cheated on, and attempted to open up to people who I helped on social media, the women dogged me except for two. Now here goes a man saying that when he got on social media to open up about him getting cheated on, women dogged him because he opened up. And these are the same women that say, I want men to open up and share their feelings. I want men to talk to me about how they feel. I want men to open up and I want to understand men. But when men open up, you get examples like Corey, and I have coached many men just like Corey. I can't open up I tell men, do not share your feelings on social media, because if whether you're right or you're wrong, it's always 95% of the time women are going to see that, she was right. Look, And it's not fair, but it is what it is, and we gotta not cry about it. Put our not say big boy pants, but men pants on, and just deal with it. And we gotta deal with it, and we gotta deal with it in a healthy way. We're opening up to other men and going into groups and having men groups. That's why I'm so big on that church. When we have a men's outing, a men get together, a men's Bible study, I'm there. Because we need to not feel judged. We don't have a safe place. I remember reading this book called Men Cry in the Dark. And if you don't think men cry, we surely do. And if we don't, there's something wrong with us. But when we cry, most men don't have a safe place to cry to, because our daddy will tell us, you got to man up. You a man. What you crying about, boy? Or, they just don't have a safe place. Sorry, I lost my train of thought. It just brought back to my remembrance. I didn't have a safe place as a boy to cry. I remember this personal story. I remember when beautiful little Puerto Rican girl dumped me to date one of my friends in elementary school. And I remember crying to my mom. And I remember... This is true story. I remember my stepdad laughing because my mom wanted to whoop me for crying. And these are the things that if I go to social media, I get the same things. I feel like I get beat upon if I can share 95 posts about how women are great. Which women are. Women are awesome. I can share 95 posts about men and how we need to step up and be men and lead in the household, which we do. I do think men are soft in this age. I really do. I can share 95 posts about, man, I love me some women's and I love me feminine women. And I get a hand clap. Let me share one post, 2 posts, 5 posts about, hey, women, this is how you can love on your man more. This is how you can correct yourself. This is how you make men feel. And this is how you can, man, the arrows come out, the guns come out. Oh, you don't know how I be a woman. There go another man talking about how women need to be. But let a woman come on Instagram or Facebook talking about, man, you need to step up. You get hand claps. But where was that same energy when I did that? Where was that same energy when I corrected women in love? Because I love me. Let me say this. I'm going to keep saying it over and over again. I love me some women. I love women. And we would get nowhere without strong women. We would get nowhere. We would get nowhere. Let me say that again. But where was that same energy when I was like, ladies, this is how you can treat a man. This is what you're doing wrong in as whole as relationship. Where was that same energy when you bash men or talk bad about men? And this is why men are not safe on social media. Because men, in order for relationship coaches to get a clout, and Steven Speaks does this too, but he does it I respect Steven Speaks, because Stephen LaBoussiere, because he goes about it in a 180 way. He goes about it and he talks about it, but in his books, he also corrects. But you don't hear him say that much on social media. You really don't. Because if he starts out with, women, this is how you need to change, women will attack him, and he can't do it. Even a relationship coach I admire can't just come and be grown about it and say, women, this is how you can, because women are, look, I understand women are sensitive creatures. They are, and that's not a bad thing. We need more sensitivity, because this man, I need to be more sensitive. Man, when I get a daughter, I know I'm going to have to be super sensitive to my daughter, right? But we can't get to the point where grown women, when we ask grown women, hey, this is what men need. Hey, this is how you can love a man. Hey, this is how you can correct. This is how women made me feel when I was hurt and rejected. Man, bam, bam. No, sir. No, you just a dog. No, you need to man up. And this is why men have reverted to these soft Ahab men pleasing women on social media and just catering to women. And men have created a whole, which is wrong too. Men have created a whole movement called the red pill movement when they just say, you know what? Men that have gotten hurt and tried to get help and have a whole red pill movement of, you know what? We just going to F these B's and be done with it, because if I've tried to be a man that care about women, but women take advantage of that. Men, it's okay not to share all your feelings on the first phone call, on the second phone call. That's not even your girl yet. Oh, I want men to be emotional. No, they don't. Let me tell you, they don't want you to be. They want you to be emotional, but to a certain extent. All right. And if you do all of that in the beginning, she's gonna think that you're not emotionally there, and she's gonna, because you share all your feelings, because she's not sharing all her feelings in the first week. But TV, radio, music, and social media will tell you that this is what women want when they really don't want that at first, because they feel like, man, he's too vulnerable. It has to be in stages, because, man of God, you got to protect your own heart too. You don't know if you're talking to a Jezebel. You don't know if you're talking to Delilah. You could be talking to a Ruth, or you could be talking to a Queen Esther, but you don't know that yet. You don't know that yet. So, like I said, if you want to get on the live, this is an open discussion, and I value your opinion as well. So, bro, that's truth. Miss Kassan, how you say your last name? Kassaniani says, I love him. I'm so glad him and his wife are working through it. I'm glad too. All men are tempted, but all those who lead are tempted 10 times. I love his honesty, and I took a lot of strength. Thank godly strength to truly lead. You know what? I can agree with that. I can agree with high value men. Look at pastors. Come on. Women are attracted to high value men in their purpose, even pastors that are married. But it goes wrong to the left when women are tempting him, and he has to say no. A real alpha male, a real high value male, and I put it on early on Facebook. I said, high value men in the world, they are only as faithful as their options, right? But kingdom men are faithful to the word of God. They're faithful to their wives, and they're gonna not even associate with men that make a practice. I made it a key point to say practice, because no man is perfect, and I'm not justifying cheating. But brother, if you did it one time and you repenting, yes. If you did it 5 or 6 times and you laughing at it, nah, we don't associate with you. You know what I'm saying? We don't associate with those men. Bro, that's true. You know why? Because it forces women to be feminine, and this age of independence is to think for that. Yeah, we really do have an age of women want to be dependent but independent, which don't make sense. Either you independent or you dependent. You can't have one or the other. You can't have a man. Men love to provide and protect. But when you want best of both worlds. You want a man that want to be an alpha. You want alpha men, but you want to be an alpha woman in charge. Baby, it don't work like that. It don't work like that. If you got a man of God, it would get a good head on his shoulders. Guess who's going to lead? That man of God. And guess who's going to step away when you're dating and you're trying to find out? He's going to walk away. Because he's going to be like, nah, she won't let me lead. But she talking about she want to be dependent, but she independent. It's not easy to hear. It takes so much love and trust in God to let go. Many of us are just too defensive. Come on, speak the truth. I appreciate that. Women are so afraid. Corey says women are so afraid to be vulnerable. And when we stay in our place as men, those guards go up because the wrong men have hurt them so much. They tend to think we are all like that. And that's true. Majority of women think that. Because what's the first thing that women said, majority of women said when they found out he cheated? Oh man, I lost faith in love. No, you didn't. Like I said, you lost faith in a man that will not hold women accountable and tell you everything that you want to hear. That's what you lost faith in. Like I said, 95% of dudes that come from me for coaching, they want to be faithful. They just was too beta. Yes, they was just too beta, and they were just too available. They're just too available when they're dating. So I feel like somebody wants to get on the camera. Somebody. Okay. Kira, I'll add you on. If you want to get on, you're welcome to get on because this is an open discussion. So we'll add you. Their friends won't be able to watch this live unless they're in your selected audience. Yeah, a lot of Cassiani. I really feel like these wrong guys and a lot of women don't know what a real alpha male is, right? A real alpha male is what this Bible says a real alpha male is. This big old Bible right here. That's a real alpha male. Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
Hey, good. How are you?
I'm super fantastic. I'm glad to have you on. Um, so what's your opinion? Where was I right? Where was I wrong? If I, I'm open to correction and discussion as well. Um, how do you feel about the Derrick Jaxn situation?
So, I would have to say that I really, I really like him. I think he is doing really great. I feel like the first step, especially if you want to be a leader, to anybody, is to be honest. And a lot of people don't like to hear that because they feel like because they have this perfect image of you, you have to maintain that. And it's not your personal fault that they made it seem that way, that you have to be perfect because you're only a human being.
Right.
And I did write a comment on there and I got bashed for writing a comment supporting him. So
Mm-hmm.
it was pretty. I couldn't imagine what him and his wife are going through and how upset she must feel. A lot of people were saying how, oh, she looks like she looks depressed, like he's forcing her to be there and she doesn't really want to be doing this. And it really bothered me because a lot of, I feel like a lot of women in general nowadays, we don't know the sacrifice it really takes to be in a relationship
Yeah.
and to actually uphold a marriage the way that God had intended us to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can agree with that. A lot of women and men don't understand. Because I hold men accountable too. Because a lot of people, look, I can write 50 posts about men, but if I write one post, I'm a male chauvinist. But you know I'm not. You clearly know. You know I'm not. I love women.
Right.
But it's in an age now where it's very true. We don't know. We do know what works, but we because we won't open up our Bibles and obey it. Who wants to hear in the world nowadays? It's better to wait for sex until marriage.
Right.
You know, that's God's intended plan. You know, who wants to hear in the world like, hey, all that partying and shaking your butt and and dressing half naked, that's not going to attract the right man. That's not popular, you know. But to the world, that's women empowerment. When in fact it's not, you know. And I definitely I don't know what's going on in that household. And to be honest with you, it's none of our business. I honestly think that he should go dark and go and just not talk for a while
Okay.
And let it die down and heal. Because if they don't, they're gonna, and he tries to force it, they're both not gonna be healed. They're gonna be hurt by social media even more when we don't know all the facts. I do know this, that I stopped listening to him because I started being one of them. The reason I can talk about it because God told me to delete my whole Instagram, because I started off at first just catering to what women wanted to hear, and I'm like, oh, this is what women want to hear, and I was like, wait a minute, if this is not what God wants me to say, and I had one post that held women accountable, and it was so negative that I was like, yo, I love women. This wasn't meant to be a bash. I was just saying, hey, ladies, this is how, what did I say? I said, this is what men want. And I put number one in marriage. I put number one, I put sex. And I tell you, because women don't want to, they say they want to understand, but as a whole, I don't feel like women want to understand. They're like, oh, that's just trifling, and how come his number one need is sex and all that stuff? Well, you're not a man. And just because that's not your number one need doesn't mean that it's not a man's number one need, you know? So we need to work together, really, and help. And if you really want to get it better, you gotta, as a whole, not you, but as a whole, women have to listen to what men want and need, and men as well have to not run into their dark corner because they've been hurt by women and say, you know what? Maybe I need to understand women more as well and what they need, because what I'm doing is not working because I'm still single, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
feel like that is very accurate. And I can say personally, for me as a woman, it was very difficult, like when we first kind of became friends, I had told you about my separation from the man I was married to and everything like that. Um, and because of that, I did hold a lot of baggage.
Mm.
Um, and then as I came into this new relationship, we started counseling, couple counseling with our pastors.
Wow. Okay.
It was, being there and kind of hearing their perspective and their point of view, and then the things that I've kind of been learning from my fellowships with a lot of the older ladies in church. It's just been, sometimes it is really hard. It's hard to like accept and to understand when somebody's telling you something that's really better for you in your life, and sometimes realizing that um that you're wrong,
Mm-hmm.
which is the hardest thing to hear, especially in this day and age with how the women are dressing, and how it seems to be like it's a fight for the attention. Like they feel like they have to beat the other women to get the man they want's attention, but if it's the man that God has for them, then they don't have to. They
Yeah.
don't have to
True.
fight for his attention. you
Mm-hmm.
know like I try to stay off of Facebook sometimes, but I see a lot of your posts and stuff about, women and the things that you love, and, the corrections and all the different things and the songs and everything. And, you know, I can tell that when the woman God has comes for you, or when she comes in front of you, she's not going to have to fight for your attention.
Oh no. 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 I may be a little bit guarded because I know the attacks of Satan's sins, but definitely when, like, I see a girlfriend as a potential wife. So you already, even before then, before dating and in a relationship. So I appreciate you saying that. I really do. Um, I'm already looking at, is she a wife material or not? So, um, yeah, and you know what? I applaud you for going to couples counseling. Even, are y'all engaged right now? Are y'all engaged?
No, actually, not the complete opposite. We want to pursue that, but I've actually I'm actually halfway into my divorce. So technically,
Okay.
you know, as it's seen by a lot of Christians and by the Bible, I'm technically not even supposed to be in a relationship,
Yeah.
to be, frank and honest.
Hmm.
Um, and then, so we just kind of, my pastors have been doing everything they can to kind of help us through this and to, make sure that this is going 100% of God and not by our own wills. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the divorce. It's the legalities now, right? With you, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, I have no place to judge, but what I can judge is this: it's very healthy that you're going to couples counseling. It's very healthy. A lot of people aren't willing to put in the work because even though they listen to Stephen Speaks, they can listen to Derrick Jaxn. I bet you not even half or three-fourths of women have actually gotten their book or gotten the course and said, hey, I need to work on myself. All they do is clap. And as soon as a book comes up, you know, man of God, get you get I would tell any man, get you around some men, read you some books about women, get around men that understand women do not. I I do tell men this. This is just my personal preference because so many men are we're prone to listen to women more. I say stop listening, not anything against women, but stop listening to women a little bit and start getting into a man's ear because you sought affirmation for women so much that's why when you get around her, you treat her like she's God when she's not. You know what I'm saying? You need to get around some counseling, read some good books about how can I attract a woman. And if you don't, you have no audacity to say that keep crying on social media that women hurt you when you're not putting in the work. Same thing with women. You don't have the audacity to talk bad about men, but when a woman in church wants to come and mentor you about your relationship, you don't want to be taught. You just like, oh, I know it all. Baby, you can be married 50 years and still be like, I'm still figuring out my husband and I'm still figuring out my wife. So you're not even in a relationship yet. Guess who's studying me? Guess who's studying about children? I'm studying more about women more than children right now because I don't, But guess who's studying about children? I love children. Me. Guess who? Guess as soon as they open up the children's ministry, if I can, because I want to do so much in church that I sometimes need to sit my tail down. Guess who want to volunteer with the children? Me, because I want to be a good dad. But if you're not willing to put in the work, don't bash. Don't don't please don't like Stephen's Lebossier stuff, Derrick Jaxn stuff. When you're not even buying the books, don't bash men because you had 5 failed relationships. Don't bash women because every woman puts you in the friend zone. It's a reason they putting you in the friend zone. It's you, brother. You got 10 friend zones. So, and I'm not pointing at you, but I'm pointing it to the men. It's you, brother. You got friend zone 10 times. So it's not women, it's you. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and that's completely true. And um, I would have to say that, it seems like a lot of people don't completely understand that. They don't understand the amount of work it takes. And you hear married couples say all the time, especially those who are in the church, it takes work. Okay.
Yeah.
It takes patience. It, like me and my boyfriend Wilford, we have been best friends for 9 years. Actually, when I was married, he was who I used to talk to whenever I was frustrated, when I was trying to blow off steam. And I actually drove his ex-fiance to see him as a surprise on Christmas as a family. It was me and my current husband, the kids. We picked up his fiance, we drove up, we went and seen him. Like, we were best friends. And then when we got into a relationship, things were different. It's almost like you don't know that person because you're getting to know them on a
Yeah.
whole different level. You can't, you can say we knew each other forever, like, I know everything about him, but no matter how much you knew, it's a whole
It's
different level.
always, yeah. Mhm. Yeah, I agree. You had something else to say? I didn't want to cut you off.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I'm gonna let somebody else get on here because I think maybe my man Cora, anybody else that wants to get on and share. But I'm gonna leave you with this and leave my people with this. My favorite movie is Fireproof, and one of the things that the book says love there that is meant to be off based on is this: you have to study your wife or your spouse like you getting a college degree. First, you get your high school degree, then you go get your bachelor's, then you get your master's, then you get your PhD. And that's what PhD students do after they graduate. They still study their field because their field is ever changing. A person is always going to be evolved. I'm not going to be the same person 5 years from now. I'm going to be a different man. You're not going to be the same person 5 years from now. You're going to be a different woman with different experiences and different things to grow from and different things to heal from as well. So it was nice having you on here. I'll have this again. So thank you for your support over the years. I really appreciate you.
Yes, of course. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. I tell your kids, I say, hey.
I will. Bye.
All right, that was really good. I love this. I really love that she was vulnerable enough to say that I got couples counseling. She reads books and she wanted to help her situation instead of hurt it because if you what's up, man? So anybody else wants to get on after this and share their opinion, I would love to hear from them. Just you don't have to be a Christian, but just no cussing. All right? You don't have to be a Christian and no cussing. Please, no cussing. I would just exit you off you know, because it's my live, right? So, yeah, um, I love the fact that she's growing, and that's the kind of look, man. I say this all the time. Focus on God. What's up, Antonio? Focus on God. Focus on you, and the ladies will too. When you have a growth mindset, when you're growing, most importantly towards God, when you're growing on things that you want to do in life, like working out, I believe all men need to have a workout plan. I really do, especially the men, especially the women too, ladies too, but especially our men. We need to go push them, get our frustration out. That's my meditation place. I be talking to God in the gym. You know, we got we we got to grow. We got to do better. So I'm open to anybody else that wants to get on. I'm going to say the call out of live. Corey, I would love to have you if you're decent. Um, if you're not well, you can be driving as well. But if you're in a safe place where you can talk, um, come on, hop on. Because I definitely want to share a male's point of view as well. Um, as well, if you're willing to get on, no pressure at all. No pressure at all. Drink some water. It's good for the skin. All right. I don't know if anybody else wants to get on, but I think nobody else wants to get on. I think we can end it right there because she's blown me away with her growth. To be very honest with you, I've seen the growth that she's had over the years as her just by her being her friend on Facebook as well as a personal friend. I've seen her growth, but it took to the point where she said enough is enough. I said as well, enough is enough. When I started to no more, I started to get hurt by women constantly by getting friend zoned, I had to say this. And them choosing other men, I had to say this. I can't stop. I can't blame other women because obviously it's me. Women want men. They want to be in relationships. So if I keep getting friend zoned, if I keep getting turned down for dates, if I keep looking like this desperate dude on social media, maybe it is me. And I chose to change, and I'm still growing. I'm still healing, and I got a lot of growth to go. You know, I got a lot of growth to go. For those who just joined us, you can hop on as well if you feel the need to. It's an open discussion. Um, you can hop on. If not, I give people 2 minutes. I'm gonna just get off of here because I'm not gonna be a broken record. When the spirit is left, the spirit is left. I'm talking about the Holy Spirit. Let me. I do have a Bible verse I do want to share. I have a Bible verse I do want to share. If anybody doesn't want to get on, who is that right there? Giovanni, what's going on, my brother? All right. Because you know I'm going to read my Bible. Because I love me some Jesus, right? I love me some women's. I love me some men. You know, I love to see men getting that thing going, getting in worship and stuff like that. But I love me some Jesus. Oh my gosh, I love me some Jesus. Let me tell you about this. We're about to switch the whole thing around. Is it 2 Timothy 3:6? Oh, okay, here we go. Rate books. I'm going to pin that right there. How you pin this comment? Read books, boundaries, and boundaries with kids. Yeah, I like that. Who's that by? Who's that by? So let me read this verse and help you understand because the Bible prophesied this. The Bible, this has been going on since biblical days. So this is nothing new. 2 Timothy 3, but understand that in the last days there will come times of difficulty, for people will be lovers of self, lovers of money, proud, arrogant, abusive, disobedient to their parents, ungrateful, unholy, heartless, unappeasable, slanderous, without self-control, brutal, not loving God, treacherous, reckless, swollen with consent, lovers of pleasure rather than lovers of God, having the appearance of godliness but denying its power. Avoid such people. And here where I want you to focus in on verse 6. For among them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sins, and lead astray by various passions. Whoa. Whoa. Let me read that again. For among them are those who creep into households and capture weak women, burdened with sins, and led astray by various passions. It saddens me that we've gotten to the point that empowerment, hey cuz, how you doing? Empowerment, women empowerment, and I want women to be empowered. I want women to have the same salaries that men have. If they're doing the same work in the same hours, they should have the same salary, right? I want women to feel free. I want women to be able to discuss what they're going through. But men who have taken advantage of women were propagating that men are dogs and men are all dogs. When I know in fact that most men aren't. Most men turn into dogs because they've seen that's how they can. They think that's the only way they can get women. Either they was beta and they got hurt by a woman, or they feel like I'm just gonna be this red pill dude. And then you got men who take advantage of women, who constantly make men like their dogs and lead them astray because they really do want a relationship, buying through all this crap into a perfect man. And let me say this: who has been, who has really been the worst of them all? The church, us as the church. Willie, what do you mean by that? I mean this: Boaz and Ruth, that story has been taught all wrong. We've romanticized Boaz so much to make him not, to make him this perfect man. Got women waiting on that Boaz, but not working on themselves. We make men seem like they're Superman and can't let them down their hair. We teach so much of how Boaz is going to be, but we don't show women that Boaz was so in the face of God and his purpose and what he was doing that it was Ruth that came to him and lay her head right by his feet. In fact, in modern terms, what does that mean, Willie? It was her that asked him out on the date. It was her that asked him, "Will you marry me?" Pretty much. Now, I'm not saying women should do that, but she hollered at him. It was his chance to say. It was her saying, "Yo, I'll marry you. I see how what God's favor is on you." And it was him to make that decision and get on his knee, right? So I'm not going all the way that women should, but I am saying it was her that came to him because he was so focused on his mission, which he should have been, that he didn't really, and he was an honorable man. He was an honorable man as well. So he knew that she was supposed to, if he was going to get married, she was supposed to get married to the next of kin, and he wasn't the next of kin. So he was honorable, even though he saw her as beautiful. But you have, because the church has taught that so wrong and emphasized Boaz so much, that I dare you, 95% of women, if an older woman comes in the church, if the older woman comes to them at church and says, "Yo, that young man kind of likes you. You don't want to, you know what I'm saying? Like, he just need a little bit of help." I bet you 95% of men, no, he supposed to come to me. If he a man's man, he supposed to come to me. He supposed to, ask me on a date. He supposed to do this and he supposed to do that because I need my Boaz to do this. He supposed to take lead. When it was Ruth that initiated the contact. Maybe your Boaz is so focused on God and doesn't want a distraction that you need to flirt with him a little bit for him to open his eyes out. And I ain't saying flirt like sexually. I mean like, "Oh, hey, how you doing? Man, I love your Bible. Hey, how you doing? You look handsome today. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I love the way you worship. What school did you go to? Maybe we should get something to eat. I would love to go out to dinner." And for him to say, "Oh, that's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying." And I'm not saying that every time you talk to a guy like that he's going to say yes. Because I'm going to tell you this: rejection is real. It's just real. And I'm not saying every time it's supposed to be like that. Sometimes the men will approach his Ruth. But the main point of that story is that Ruth humbled herself so much and listened to her mother-in-law and lay her head at his feet to say, I'm trying to holler at you. You want a piece of this? Pretty much. And he said, yeah, I do. But I'm honorable, and I'm gonna go talk to the people in the tribe about marrying you because you're not supposed, even though you fine, and I could take you. He said he had an opportunity to take her that night. They was alone. She lay at his feet. He had an opportunity to take her at this night, and he was honorable to the point where he said, "Not gonna do that." All right, I'm getting out of here. I love you guys. Thank you for the conversation. Holla at your boy. Oh.